What's up, guys? The Mystical Gamer here, and this is Nerfs, a rant about player psychology in modern gaming. I hope you enjoy. This is not going to be a video about what a Nerf is, or rather even where the term came from. For that I will post another video below to give some historical context from the Score esports channel in their video, Why is it called a Nerf? Rather, this video is dedicated to the current player psychology that exists in modern gaming. However, it is important to establish at the very beginning that when I say the term Nerf, what I am saying is a change typically done in a patch of a game that is designed to weaken a character, weapon, or ability in an attempt to make the gameplay of that game feel fair. In doing this, the games that I will be specifically referencing will be the games that I play, which are Warcraft 3, Hearthstone, Marvel Rivals, and lastly chess. Since I am most familiar with all of these games, I will draw on my own experiences with each of them to make my points, and finally lead you to my conclusion, which I will tell you up front is, modern gamers need to do less complaining and more adapting in order to have the experiences that they say they want in relation to having fun with the games that they play. In general, when something comes out, the complaining players feel is unbalanced. They will go through the same old, tried and true following steps. 1. Identify and bring negative attention to the character, weapon, or ability in discussion and seek to gain support for their complaint from others in that game's community, usually in chat rooms and gaming forums, so they can create an echo chamber of others that are like-minded to their own views of how the game should be played, who will go along with their perceived complaint. 2. Once this echo chamber is loud enough, in the aforementioned chat rooms and gaming forums, the complainers will then solicit public content creators or even pros of the game to begin vocalizing their complaint on larger platforms, bringing more and more exposure to the complaint in the cries of imbalance, unfairness, or overpowered gameplay. 3. Developers, in an attempt to make the complaining online mob satisfied, will eventually cave on their original creativity and design, and ultimately nerf from the online perception and pressure. Out of fear, they will be labeled as out of touch with their communities if they do not nerf. I have seen this same song and dance from the complainers over and over again, and it is always in the same pattern. The only thing that ever changes is where the online mob will go next with their frustration. So the real question about nerfs is, what do the complainers ultimately want as a result of the nerfs? We know what they say they want, which is to have their games be balanced, for things to feel fair, and to have fun. However, the truth is much more self-serving. In my experience, complainers represent playstyles, and if something comes out in a game which is a challenge to that playstyle they represent or identify with, they will seek to destroy that challenge in the form of calling for a nerf in order to protect their preferred playstyle and defend their tribe they come from. Here are a few examples of what I mean from Hearthstone and Marvel Rivals. In Hearthstone, there are mainly 3 styles of play: aggro, mid-range, and control. Combo also exists, but usually is placed as a mixture of mid-range and control. Marvel Rivals has 3 styles of play as well: dive, brawl, and poke. On July 30th, 2020, the Skullman's Academy was released as an expansion for Hearthstone, and it included a legendary card for the priest class named Mind Renderer Elucia. Elucia fit perfectly into the aggro shadow priest archetype and made it a fun and clever way to checkmate your opponent early on before turn 5 if you played all your cards in typical aggressive fashion. However, control players clamored that the card was toxic because it enhanced the aggressive playstyle too much. The complaining control players, led by content creators who wanted longer games so they could farm more content for personal gain, ended up having the card nerfed twice by the developers. First, on August 18th, 2020, where the card increased to 3 mana, and then finally to its current reworked state on September 21st, 2021, where it is now considered unplayable. appeasing the whining, unadaptable sloths that prefer the control style of play in Hearthstone. The entire identity of the card was changed to protect the control player's agenda because they could not handle change. Gambit was released on November 14th, 2025 as a strategist and new character for Season 5 in Marvel Rivals. At the time I am writing/recording this video, in June of 2026, Gambit has had more than 10 individual nerf changes across patches since his release, and yet, still, because his playstyle tends to favor a dive/brawl hybrid style of gameplay, and poke players loathe having to do anything other than just aim and shoot at their opposing team, he has constantly been a target of their complaints and frustration to this day, because the game has become more complex since his introduction. However, even after all these changes, he is considered to be a pick or ban character because real G's move in silence like lasagna. During his time at Hearthstone as a developer in charge of balance, Dean Ayala Ixar received constant personal attacks, harassment, and even threats of violence against him personally from individuals who were angry with his vision. Ziyong, the lead combat designer for Marvel Rivals, has had prominent content creators call for his firing because they want to appear as rage-filled as their audience about the state of the game, because the complainers are not playing in a utopian vacuum. The content creators would rather go along with the online mob than adapt and formulate their own opinions. This has to stop and has gone way too far. Warcraft 3, my personal favorite game of all time, has 4 races that all have unique strengths, abilities, and weaknesses. From time to time, there are patches and balance changes by the developers, but they are very minor and subtle. Part of this is because the game has been out since July 3rd, 2002, and the player base is much smaller in comparison to games like Hearthstone and Marvel Rivals. However, as a player of all 3 games, I can honestly say the way the players view strengths in the game is generally seen as a result of skill expression by the player, not unfair power levels relating to any specific race or units. Good gameplay is measured in merit. Finally, let us consider the ancient game of chess. Chess has been around in its current state since the 1400s. The piece the knight is the only piece in the game that has the capability to jump over other pieces and move in an L shape. Not even the queen, who can do all other movements of the other pieces in the game, can move like a knight. Never, at any point in my lifetime, and I'm starting to get up there now, have I ever heard anyone say, "Nerf the knight," or "the knight is overpowered," or "the knight is unfair or imbalanced and bad for the game of chess because it can move the way it can." Why? Because chess players have accepted the knight's unique abilities and strengths and learned to play with the knight in the game. Its power makes the game more interesting. In conclusion, modern gamers need to do less complaining and more adapting in order to have the experiences that they say they want in relation to having fun with the games that they play. They need to learn and accept there will always be knights in their games.